Apparently they nested here. Hey everyone, it's Roberto with Berto's Bird Life. I'm in Las Cruces, and I'm not doing a video here, but I'm on a road trip. I am going on a rare bird chase. There are 3 crazy rarities in New Mexico, and I'm gonna be passing right through the area where all 3 of these birds have been seen over the last few days. I'm going to be looking for a brown pelican, a tropical kingbird at Caballo Lake State Park. Both birds are there. And then there's also a yellow-footed gull, a bird I have never seen before at, what's it called, Elephant Butte Lake State Park. So I'm gonna swing by these locations. I'm just an hour south of Caballo Lake, where the brown pelican and kingbird are. So I'm gonna try and find them. Let's see if I can get 3 out of 3. I feel like with 3 birds, one of them's gonna hit. So let's take a shot. I started my chase by searching for the brown pelican, a large widespread coastal species of the Americas that rarely ventures inland. Apparently it was seen integrated into a flock of American white pelicans, so that's where I began my search. So I'm at Caballo Lake State Park, and there's a massive flock of American white pelicans behind me. Estimated, I tried actually counting them individually. I got to about 150. And I just couldn't do it anymore. So my estimate was about 250 based on how many I still had to count. But there's a lot of them. There's also a lot of really other cool birds out here too. A lot of egrets, some herons, some cormorants. I got some nice looks at a variety of birds, including these neotropic cormorants. You can distinguish them from the similar double-crested cormorant by the dark lores, which is the space between the bill and the eye. I also got a nice side-by-side of both snowy egret and great egret. The snowy being the smaller 2 with dark bills, and the great egret being much taller with a yellow bill. And then finally a group of turkey vultures that I believe were feeding on a carcass. These birds are scavengers and only feast on food that's already dead. I also can't forget the views I got of this Clark's grebe. Sometimes I have a hard time filming these because they're diving underwater for food. But this one stayed above surface for me. Thanks, homie. No sign of the brown pelican. He might be out there, or she. Yeah, I don't know. It's so far away. I really wish I had a spotting scope. There is another spot where it was last seen, a little further south, closer to where the tropical kingbird is. So I think I'm gonna head over there, see if I can catch a look. Okay, so I'm at the Percha Flats of Caballo Lake State Park. Supposedly, this is where the brown pelican was seen last, which was yesterday. The Percha Flats turned out to be a relatively dried out section of Caballo Lake. Despite the barrenness, I still spotted a variety of aquatic birds at the water's edge, but no sign of the brown pelican. Doing some scanning and I'm not seeing it. A lot of American white pelicans, great blue herons, both snowy and great egrets, and turkey vultures. After feeling defeated with my search for the brown pelican, I turned my attention to the tropical kingbird, a widespread and common flycatcher of Central and South America that has been expanding its range northward in recent decades in the southwestern United States. At Percha Flats, there's no sign of the brown pelican. Meantime, I'm going to go see if I can find the tropical kingbird, and then maybe I'll come back later for the brown pelican. But to my knowledge, there hasn't been any sightings of it today. Okay, I'm at the Riverside Campground. The report said there's apparently at least 4 tropical kingbirds, 2 adults and 2 juveniles. So apparently they nested here. That's pretty cool. I know that's a rare bird for New Mexico statewide, so that's kind of interesting they nested here in the south central part of the state. Yeah, so I'm here at the campground, supposedly. In the last report it says they're just south of the campground loop. I am as far south. I found the loop, found a road, and took this road as far south as you possibly could go. I did just get some footage of a Lucy's warbler. I'm actually really happy about that because for how many times I filmed in Albuquerque and could not get footage of a Lucy's warbler, it was kind of disappointing because they're one of the most common birds. So I feel like I just needed to get that bird on camera for at least one of my videos while I'm here in New Mexico. So I finally just got it. All right, let's go look for these tropical kingbirds. Searching the campground, I enjoyed another array of birds, including the snowy egret, hunting in the shallow river downstream of Caballo Lake. The egrets stand out with their bright white plumage. I got some footage of another common bird of New Mexico, the white-winged dove. as well as some relatively bad footage of another warbler species, the McGillivrays warbler.
Yeah, I've just made it to the south end of the campground loop, and I haven't had any luck. I went back and checked the second most recent report, and that one said the kingbirds were actually in the middle of the campground. So it's gonna be a glimmer of hope. I'm gonna go check. I'm just gonna search this whole campground and see what I can find. But I've been spending a lot of time in these islands of shade. It's so hot out, and it's only in like maybe the high 80s, but it's just, the sun is just, yeah, I'm trying not to get cooked.
Some activity in these trees caught my attention, and I proceeded to take a closer look.
Okay, I think this might be them. Holy cow.
The tricky part about this identification is making sure it isn't one of the other two very similar expected species in New Mexico, the western and Cassin's kingbird. Could this bird be one of the tropical kingbirds I was seeking?
That's definitely a kingbird. Wow, I just got chills. Okay. There's multiple in the cottonwood trees, which supposedly they're in cottonwood trees, or at least that's what they're nesting in.
After some extended looks, I was able to confirm that this was indeed a tropical kingbird. And there were multiple.
Wow. Oh man. I got the tropical kingbirds. Oh my god, there's one adult and two juveniles.
By the end of it, I saw both adults and at least 3 juveniles, making a total of 5 tropical kingbirds.
I'm so happy. Got one. So the main difference between the tropical kingbirds with the expected kingbird species out here, the western and the Cassins, is the bill. The bill is a lot longer in the tropical, and the amount of yellow on the underparts extends all the way up to just about below the neck. In the western and Cassins kingbirds, it just extends up to below the breast, so into the belly. So, oh man, I've seen this bird so many times in bull. Just flew right past me. Wow. This adult has came really close to me. I've gotten some really nice looks at it. I wasn't even doing anything, and it just landed on perches nearby, and just watching it look for insects, flout and snatch stuff, it has been really cool. I can see the 2 juveniles up in one of these cottonwood trees, in this weird row of clearly they were all planted here by people, but it's funny that they used it, and wow, what a cool experience.
After enjoying killer looks of tropical kingbirds, I made one more attempt at searching for the brown pelican.
Okay, I just checked one more time at Percha Flats to see if the brown pelican was there. I didn't even get out of my car, I just did a quick scan of the area, but I'm not seeing any signs of it. So honestly, I think the brown pelican's a bust. Really stoked I got the tropical kingbird though. So now I'm gonna go head to Elephant Butte Lake State Park and see if I can find the yellow-footed gull. I feel like that one is probably the rarest of the 3, and that's gonna be the all-star finale if I can get that bird.
The yellow-footed gull has a very small range in the Gulf of California in Mexico, though some can be found in the Salton Sea of extreme southern California. The individual being seen at Elephant Butte Lake is New Mexico's 2nd ever state record, making this bird a mega rarity. Also, since I've never seen a yellow-footed gull before, I'd use this picture of a lesser blackback gull that I photographed in Florida, since it was the closest thing I could find.
I'm at Elephant Butte Lake State Park. At first glance, Elephant Butte Lake is kind of daunting, and I'm looking for a bird that's even smaller than the brown pelican, so that's, yeah. But if I'm looking off to my left here, there actually is a big flock of gulls, and I even see another birder down there scanning, so I might have a better shot than I think. Okay, I think I see it out there. There's definitely one juvenile gull.
The yellow-footed gull being reported was a young bird. which means it has a basic, unpatterned, messy brown and white plumage like almost every other juvenile gull species, making it even harder to distinguish.
That's a lot bigger than all the other gulls. And over here, a killdeer. Yep, there's a killdeer right there. And yeah, it was a juvenile gull, so it's got a lot of brown on it. But the fact that this birder is way closer than me and they don't seem to be scared is kind of giving me some encouragement. So I'm gonna try and get a little closer.
I had to take a little detour to avoid some filthy terrain, but not without getting some incredible looks at one of the many individual sandpipers foraging on the mudflats.
Okay, I gotta backtrack a little bit because this stuff, this vegetation, this mud is just too mushy, and yeah, I'm not walking through that. So I gotta make my way around where this other birder is. Just got some footage of a sandpiper. That was really cool. I think it's a least, but I gotta double check.
I actually ended up sitting down to spend some quality time with this bird when I realized I've never been this close to a least sandpiper before. The least sandpiper is North America's smallest sandpiper species at about 6 inches in length. They can generally be easily distinguished from other sandpipers of similar size by their brown upper parts and yellow-greenish legs. These tiny birds are typically very skittish, but this bird didn't give a shit about me while it wolfed down aquatic invertebrates. It was mostly least sandpipers here, but there were also a couple western sandpipers with grayish upper parts and black legs.
Alright, so there's actually another gull species out there, a larger one, an adult, something with a red dot. I think it's a red dot. I see at the end of that bill there.
It turned out to be a California gull, a nice find among this flock of mainly ring-billed gulls. The California gull is slightly larger than the ring-bills and has a black and red dot at the end of its yellow bill.
Yeah, the supposedly juvenile yellow-footed gull is right there. I got some footage of it. I thought it was about to take off. It started to fly, but then landed.
After chatting with the other birder nearby, I figured out that this bird was not the yellow-footed gull. I suspect it might be a young California gull since it was larger than the ring-bills, but I'm not totally sure. Let me know what you think it is in the comments below.
I think they got spooked by this jet skier, all the noise it was making. I was scared he was going to drive right by, but he seems to be staying pretty far out there. Oh, he's coming back. Let's see what they do.
Almost the entire flock took off, so I observed some of the other nearby species in hopes that the flock would return, such as this osprey that just caught a fish. Also spotted another Clark's grebe. This one was more distant than the last. I enjoyed some views on the mud flats of Elephant Butte Lake, and eventually the flock of gulls showed back up.
Do you think this one's another ring-billed?
This new bird that showed up definitely seems suspicious.
Okay, I gotta recap what just happened. I was down there, and the bird I thought was the yellow-footed gull. I was filming the whole time. And then I start talking to this lady after the flock starts taking off on their own accord. And she says, no, that wasn't it. Probably a juvenile ring-billed. And I'm like, darn. And so we're talking, super nice person. We're having some good talk about birds and stuff, and then another gull comes, a juvenile gull comes back, super brown, you know, clearly a young bird, and then I got really excited because I'm thinking, oh, this one might be it, but she's saying, no, that's not it, and she's describing the bird and saying, you know, it's got an all-black bill, white belly, and I'm looking at this young bird, and it's got an all-black bill and a white belly, and I'm thinking, are you sure that's not the bird? And she's saying, no, because something's wrong, not right with the face and all this. And I'm like, yeah, probably right. So she's giving me advice of where I might be able to see him, says they might be fishing at the south end of the lake. And then we both just kind of stand up and make some quick move-ins because we were preparing to leave, not really thinking too much of it. More her than me, because I was just following her lead. And then the whole flock of gulls, maybe about 20 of them, including this one juvenile that just landed, just take off, clearly spooked by our sudden movement. And we're watching them take off, and this lady goes, oh shoot, that was it. And I'm like, no way. And then she's like, yeah, because it's got the white rump. Well, I am so happy I got all these pictures and video footage of it because that was my life for yellow-footed gull. So let's go. I kind of wish I had known at the time that was definitely the gull because I would have been taking it in more, but I got some really pretty good footage of it, so I can't complain. But wow, 2 for 3 rare birds of this trip. That was incredible. I'm calling this a success. You know, I won rock, paper, scissors. So let's go.
Leaving on a high note, I reminisced on the experience of rarity chasing and the thrill it brings to the hobby of bird watching. What birds from this video have you seen before? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for watching Birdo's Bird Life. I'll see you next time on the next adventure.